There are some things you hold on to not because they're useful, but because they remind you of who you were or who you used to love. My father's watch was one of those things. It wasn't anything rare or flashy, just an old Hamilton with a leather strap that had long since gone stiff and a face that bore the quiet haze of decades. It sat in the top drawer of my dresser for over 30 years, ticking only when I wound it, which I rarely did. But every time I opened that drawer, the sight of it pulled me back to the sound of his voice, the scrape of his work boots on the porch, and the soft whistle he always gave before entering a room. He wore that watch every day until the week he passed. The day I brought it home, I told myself I'd wear it occasionally. I didn't. Not because I didn't want to, but because I was afraid I'd lose it, or worse, damage it. So instead, I let it rest where it was safe, untouched, like a relic on a private altar. Then last winter, my granddaughter Emma came to me. She was sitting at the kitchen table, her fingers turning the pages of her financial aid letter. I could tell by the way her eyes dropped to the bottom of the page that the news wasn't good. "They're offering some," she said, "but it's not enough." I didn't say anything at first. I just nodded, reached for the kettle, poured us both a cup of tea. She told me about the scholarship, the part-time job she'd already picked up, and the school she dreamed of attending. I listened. Part of me was back in time, sitting across from my own father when I told him I wanted to be a teacher. I remembered the worry in his face, the way he nodded, then quietly sold a set of tools he'd kept for years so I could buy books that first semester. That memory landed hard. I didn't sleep well that night. I lay awake, the cold air of January humming against the windows, and thought about that watch, that old Hamilton tucked in the drawer upstairs, what it had meant to my father, what it had come to mean to me. By morning, the decision was made. It wasn't easy, not at all. I opened the drawer slowly, like I might find something else in there. Something to tell me I didn't have to do it, but I knew better. I held the watch in my hand for a long while. I traced the face with my thumb, felt the small nick at the edge of the casing where he'd once caught it on a metal pipe. I remembered how he'd laughed about it, said, "It still works, don't it?" Yes, it still worked. I took it to a collector I'd known for years, someone I trusted. He looked at me like he knew exactly what I was doing and didn't say a word when he wrote the check. I didn't tell Emma right away. I let the money show up when it needed to, quietly, without fanfare. That's how my father would have done it. That's how I wanted her to remember it. Months passed. She got into the school. She sent postcards. Then one afternoon, she came home and noticed the drawer. "Where's Grandpa's watch?" she asked. I smiled, shrugged a little. "It was time," I said. She didn't press. She just nodded, like she understood something larger than the words I had given her. I still miss that watch, but I don't regret it, not for a second. Letting go of something doesn't mean forgetting. It means understanding that memory doesn't live in the object. It lives in what we do with what we're given. I like to think my father would have smiled at the decision, maybe even proud. After all, it was just a watch. But the lesson behind it, that's timeless.